The Alice Tote Bag. This tote bag is fun, and it's made out of 35 of these pot holders in blue and white, and we've got a couple of handles that are made out of pot holder loops. So we have videos on how to make all 4 of these patterns. It looks like 5 because these 2 we just flipped the main color. So I've got tutorials for all of those working on my pot holder loom, and we're going to make the Alice Tote Bag, and this is in honor of my mother, and she just loved blue and white, and she loved tote bags. So this is going to be the Alice Tote. I hope you join us today for this assembly video here on GoodKnit Kisses.
Welcome to GoodKnit Kisses. We're all about helping you stitch your love and love your stitches.
Today's video, we have a right or left-handed version, so click down in the video description below to get the one that you need. I am right-handed, and I flipped the video over to show what it looks like if you're left-handed, so that's down there. Also down in the video description below is our free blog that shows all the materials that you see here and some that you don't, that you need for making all of these squares, and also it tells you how many of each design that you need. So let's go over that very quickly, and of course you can see that written again, so it'll be easier. So we need 4 of the corners design, and these are blue and white, and then we need 8 of the 4 corners design, and then we need 12 of the diverging corners design. So you're actually going to make 6 with color A being the dominant color, and then 6 with color B being the dominant color, and that will even out the amount of loops that we have you purchase, and so that mathematically works out much better for you. Okay, and then the remaining ones, you're going to need 11 of the stripes. If you don't want any pockets, just make 2 of them. So you need 26 squares to make it without pockets, or 35 squares total to make it with the pockets that we have drawn out in our diagram and written on our pattern. And then the remaining loops are going to be used for 2 straps, and then you'll need the hardware. So all of that information is down in the pattern link. All of the patterns that I've mentioned, we do have videos for all of these styles. See the corners, 4 corners, diverging corners, and striped, plus the strap, and also seaming the pot holders. Next, I'm going to show you how to start seaming these together. Let's begin with the 4 corners design. We're going to use 8 of them. So we've got 4 here and 4 here. And what these are the ends of our bag, the sides, okay? They're short sides. Okay, so we're going to be setting aside 4 of them, and then those will get seamed together. So I'm going to show you the layout first, and you'll want to seam 4 of them together, and then do the next 4 together, and then set them aside for the rest of the assembly. So let's show you how to first set up putting these on the table. So I'm going to put one down here and face all of the V-shaped stitches up like this, and then the next one, make sure it's turned, okay, like this, and I'm going to make sure that my V-shaped stitches are facing like this, and you can flip it over if you need to, or rotate it, whatever you like. It's just easier, especially when you first start, to make sure that they all the V's face the same direction. And then this one here, I'm going to put it up top, and all the V's are facing the same direction. And then this one down here, same thing. I've already got them turned, but you could have had them all stacked like this. See that? And then we just turn them. So it looks like there's one square in the middle, and then it pops out like that. And so this one also has it turned. So I've already got one that I've started sewing together, and you can check out the video down below for weaving them. And I'm just working with a tapestry needle that has a little bent end on it. And I've already got this part started. So you can see it's down here, and then this part is already put together, and it's pulled tightly. And then this one here gets placed, and then this one gets placed, and then you continue stitching up this way. So let's talk about how we're stitching. So it's called the baseball stitch, and the video that I have shows you exactly how to start at the corner and work your way up. And it actually works on one side. So I'm going to turn it over, and you can see how I'm just stitching on this side, and it's going to be nice and flat. But on the back, you can see how it's kind of like a book, you know, when you kind of crack the spine and you can open and see it. So on this project, there's going to be sometimes where I say you're going to want to seam both sides, or we're just going to have you seam one, okay? And that's going to be used later. But on all of these, for now, I'm going to show you how to do them, and I want you to go all the way down and do the top. And then once you decide over here, you're going to flip it over. And once this is connected, you're going to continue seaming all the way up on the back, and then you'll finish and then weave your tails together. And then you'll turn it and then seam one side, flip it over, and seam the other side. That way it's flush on both sides and you're good to go. So go ahead and seam those together, refer to the video, and set it aside, and then seam these four together, and then we'll work on the two sides of the bag. All right, now that you've got the ends done, we're going to do side A. Side A is going to be using a predominantly white. White is color or contrast A, the main color. And so the main color is going to be used for the predominant color in this one. Side B is going to be using predominantly color B. You can see how it looks like it's just got more of the blue outlining over here. Okay, so let's just do one side at a time. Okay, so if you notice something about this design, you can see how I've got it turned where it almost looks like, to me, it looks like it's bigger on this side and bigger here. And then you can see where it looks like two are interlinked. Okay, it looks like these two squares have an interlinking part. Can you see that? It's interlinked. Okay, go ahead and lay them all out to where it's all facing that exact way, interlinked, okay? And I'm gonna make sure that all my V stitches are facing up here. And then this one, just ignore this seam here on this side. I'm gonna make sure my V stitches are facing up on here. Coming over here, these are facing up. Oh, you know what, I gotta turn this. Okay, never mind, let's keep going. So here's the little interlocking part. Okay, here's the interlocking part. It's facing the same direction. This one's facing the same direction. I've got my V-shaped stitches here. Don't worry about this middle one. Okay, so here's my interlocking part here. And yeah, I'm gonna flip this over. Okay, so it's interlocking, and then I can see my V-shaped stitches. There we go. And then this one's interlocking. And then here we go, interlocking. So see how they're all the same way? All right, before we continue on, I want you to kind of notice the four that are where they're joining here, and then the four we're joining here. So you can see how these two, the corners kind of go this direction and towards each other. And then these two, they look like they're opposite of one another. So basically they're mirrors. Like this one, these are mirrors of each other, these are mirrors of each other. And then over here, same thing. Now, this is what happens. This is really cool. It's a visual thing, and it's going to be more apparent once it's sewn together, but watch what happens when we flip some of them. So I'm just going to take and rotate this one at the top row in the middle, and then come to the bottom row, and we're going to rotate the bottom right and left ones. Rotate and rotate. Now, do you see how it looks like all of these are facing each other, and then all of these are mirrored of each other outward? It's like the opposite. Isn't that cool? So you can do it however you want. This is the way that I'm going to do it, and I just wanted you to see that. I really like this one, and it kind of emulates and imitates what's happening on the ends that you just did. So go ahead and seam all of these together. You're going to want to seam the right side, flip it over, seam the other side, and then seam the right side here, flip it over, seam the other side, and then do the middle section on both sides. Okay, all right, so go ahead and do that, and then repeat that with your other diverging corners to make side A and then side B. And just to make it clear as mud again, I'm going to show you the side B so you can see what this looks like before it's turned. So if you like this one, let me turn this one, turn it, turn this one, and turn this one. And you get that really cool pattern again. So this is the other way to do it. Now, as you noticed, when you're making 6 of them together, your V-shaped stitches are not all lined up the way they were before. But now that you've gotten a good grip on how to sew them, you should be able to adjust and stitch these. You're just working with that top leg of the stitch, running all the way along the top and then turning it over and doing the bottom part. Okay? All right, I'm going to show you the bottom of the bag. The bottom of the bag has 4 of these of the corners design, and then we have 2 of the stripes or striped. Okay, so we're going to put them down. Just go ahead and do it like it's a big square. It's like a picture frame. Okay, make all the miters into each other. Okay, just like that. But we need 6 of them here, so you're just going to split it in the center like that. And you're going to put the stripes following the stripes here, right in the middle. Okay, and then I've got them lining up to where my V's should be in the right spot. If you need to turn it over, you can flip it around and make sure they line up to make it easiest for you, so if it's possible. So this is the bottom of the bag. Okay. All right, so go ahead and make that. And let me just go ahead and talk about this while you're gathering your things. So let's look at the bottom of the bag. So the bottom of the bag is going to be, you know, you've got a side A on one side, a side B along this side, and they're going to be coming straight up. And then the ends are the short sides, with there's 2 of these pot holders. So we've got the ends here and the ends here. Okay, and then you're going to have 3 pockets, and the pockets are going to, one of them is going to be 6 of them wide, and it's going to go on the inside of side A or B, wherever you like, and it'll be basically a double wall there. And then you have your other 2 pockets, and I'll show you where those go later on. All right, so go ahead and finish making the bottom of your bag, and I'll show you the pockets. Okay, so you have 6 of these stripes that are going to make 1 pocket, and you should have, you really should have 9 left. So these 3, you're going to set 1 aside, and that's going to be a single pocket. Okay, and so you're going to have a pocket with 6, and then you're going to have a pocket with 2, and the pocket of 1. So the 1 is not going to get sewn to anything right now. And then the 2 is just going to put 2 pockets side by side, sew those together, and these 6 are going to be all of these together. Okay, so go ahead and do those, and then we'll come back to assemble all of our panels together. All right, so I have all of my panels and pockets done. You can see here's just my single one for the 1 single pocket. We have my 2 pocket inside, and this is the side, and I have 2 of them the same way. Notice I have a little stitch marker on here, and so what I've done is I'm putting a stitch marker, just a locking one that comes out. Okay, this just slides in like this one. And I put it on what I'm calling the right side or the outside of my bag. So the part of the pattern that you want to face on the outside of the bag to show is what I'm calling the right side or the outside. If you notice, and you notice this when you're working on it, if you flip it over, it's actually, you know, the reverse of whatever we did. And so this is the one that I want to have on the outside or the right side. So I have 2 of these, and then this is what the bottom of my bag is going to look like. And I've, oh, you know, my marker came off, but that's okay. So this is what's going to look on the inside of the bottom of the bag. And I told you to make it look like this. Oh, here it goes. There's my marker. See? Okay, so this is what the bottom of the bag is going to look like. So let's say if you pick the bag up and you look at it from the actual bottom. So when you look at it from the inside, it will be like this. And if you like it the opposite way, then that's what you should do on your bag. Okay. And this is going to be used as a base to start sewing things onto. So we're going to flip this over so that the inside of the bag is facing up. And then the remaining panels are my side A and side B, and then I have my large pocket. So let's go ahead and work on the smallest of these, and I'm going to give an example of what we're going to do next. So whenever we start sewing panels together, we're going to make sure that we know what our right side is, and then we're going to turn it downward and lay it to the outside edge of whatever that edge it's going to be sewn on. All right, so go ahead and take the bottom of your bag, place it with the right side down, and then grab one of your ends, okay, and then make it to where the right side or the outside is turned down as well, like over here, and just put it on one of the ends. It could be on this side or on the other side. All right, and then let's do one pocket. So we're going to sew on the single pocket. It doesn't matter which side that you put it on, if you put it on this side or that, but take the single pocket and for now just push it all the way down to the end, and you're going to start down here just as you normally would and start sewing this together. And then when we get here, I'm going to show you how to go through both parts at the same time. This will become a pocket, and we're going to sew together this seam all in one, so you're doing the pocket at the same time as the panel. And then when we finish, we're going to leave a long tail, and then the end over here is going to get sewn up later on whenever we put on the other panel side, okay? So you're going to pull out enough yarn to work this seam and this seam here, which is the upright part of the bag when it moves like this to become the bag. So we always do 3 times the length of the seam, so it's 3 times this length plus 3 times this length, and then your 2 tails. Okay, so in this case, this is about 2.5 yards. All right, so go ahead and cut that, and then we will start sewing this together. So we do have the other tutorial showing you how to sew these together, but I'm just going to begin on this one. And if you haven't seen that tutorial, now you're going to see a little taste of that. Go ahead and go up this little corner part here, just this little corner edge, and pull all your yarn through until you get about a 6-inch tail. Okay, and then go through this other side and the corner. You can do this little corner piece, or you can even do this little corner piece that's part of the V's that are facing that way, or they could be running the other direction. Just go ahead and pull that through. And for good measure, you can go back through that one again and pull through. I'm just holding on to the tail over here so it doesn't pull out. All right, tightening that up. And now we're going to go from the inside of this bottom panel, just as we would before. And then on the other side, we're going to pick up this stitch here, this part of the V. The V can be facing this direction or it can be facing that direction. Okay, so you're just going to go through and pick up one stitch from the top side of that V all the way down until you get to the halfway point. So continue jogging back and forth. Pause your video and I will meet you at that point. Or I'm going to pause the video and I will meet you there. All right, so up to this point, you've been doing what we've been calling a baseball stitch. You're going from the inside part of a V and coming up and out, and then going to the other side on the inside and up and out, okay? So now we're going to start with the pocket area. We're actually going to do kind of an inside whip stitch. So I'm going to come over here, my panel for my pocket, and you'll repeat this on all the other ones that have pockets. You're going to go into this corner here, okay, and go through both stitches of the V, okay, so both loops, and then on the panel, and then the bottom, you're going to go through the top loop that you see. So we're just going through one loop on the panel. This is the end panel, and then we're going through the top loop of the inside of the bag bottom here. Okay, pull through all of your slack, and just like I showed you on the other video, make sure that you're tightening up, making sure there's no slack in here so your seam is nice and tight. Okay, so now it's come through all of those stitches, and now we're going to whip back around. It's just coming all the way around here and going through them again. So we're going to go through these 2 stitches on the next one, and then we'll make sure to go through this next stitch on the panel, and then the same stitch across from it on the bottom panel, and pull all the way through. Okay, and then tighten that up. So what's going to happen is, as you continue these stitches, this panel here will get to sit upright, and this other panel will sit up right like this, and then you're going to have this sort of bookend part here that's going to sit up. Once we're all done, we're going to sew up these ends here, and then everything will be more upright and all the panels will be held together. So go ahead and sew all the way to the end, just like I showed you here, and leave the long tail because the vertical parts are going to be left for the very end, and I'll show you that. Okay, so you've sewn your first pocket in, and you've got your extra yarn just set to the side. Leave it there, and we're going to rotate our bag, and we're going to work on one of our sides. I'm going to pull side B. It has a predominant color of color B, and I've marked what I want to be the right side, which is this one here, and I'm going to lay that face down so these seams align. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my pocket. That's the largest pocket, and I want the stripes to face the inside of the bag horizontally here. You could flip it if you want. This is what it looks like on the other side of it. Okay, so I'm just going to lay it straight on here, and you're going to do this the exact same way you did before. You're going to have enough yarn to go along this length 3 times and that length 3 times plus tails at the end. I've already measured mine out, which is about 3.5 yards. And so you're just going to begin straight away over here, and let's go ahead and put my tapestry needle in, and I'm going to get you started since it's definitely going right onto the edge. So go ahead and connect your corners first. Just get those in there. Leave your tail and get the corners of the panels is the part that you want to do first. Okay, and these will get reinforced later. This is just to get you started. And I'm going to come through one of these here. Okay, now we're nice and connected. You can tie a knot if you like. Okay, so we're going to come along and do what we did before. We're going to come through these first 2 stitches here. Okay, you can figure out along this line which one is actually the first set of stitches along here. So this is a blue is our last warp here, and that should be this piece here, this blue, so it actually belongs to the bottom. And so we're going to come through this white piece here, okay, which is actually the last of the weave. So come through there, and then pick up 1 stitch from the top part of the panel below, and 1 stitch from down here. I'm going to go through that one more time, and hold on to this tail because it might come out. Pull through all that excess yarn, pull it real tight. Okay, so we've done 1 whip stitch. Let's go through again. I'm going to go up to this blue one because that's the very next one. Go through both sets of the V, and then find the next stitch. That's a blue, the top part, and then this next stitch, which is going to be this white one, and pull through. There you go. So keep going along, and when you get to the corners, make sure and reinforce those really well, and just continue along till you get to the other end and leave a nice long tail. Okay, pause your video. I'll show you the next panel. Okay, so we're on the third panel, which is another end, and I'm going to make this part my right side, so I'm going to turn that down. And we're going to go ahead and seam through here, and there are no pockets on this end. Now, yes, there is a 2-panel pocket or 2 square pocket you could put here, but I'm not putting it here because I would rather not have it on this corner with this other pocket. So what's going to happen is this one is going to go over here when you do the panel after this one. So go ahead and sew this one in and leave your long tail over here, and then after that you're going to put in your last panel and you'll sew it in here. So when you're done, you'll have all 4 panels in and all the pockets, and then we will sew up the other areas together, these vertical parts. We'll see you then. All right, so you've put most of your bag together. We need to seam up those vertical parts on the inside of our bag, and then you can actually reinforce on the outside as well. You may or may not feel you need that, but if you're gonna have heavy stuff in your bag, you're gonna wanna do that. So I'm gonna show you how to fold this up together and clip it. So let's come over to my workspace here. So I had to show that laid out on a bigger table because I can't fit it under my camera when I video. So bear with me. So what I've done is I've taken some of these clips. They have like a long tooth on one end and clipped here. You don't have to use them. You can use something else or not, but I just want to show you how it kind of comes together. So this is going to be a big rectangle in the center, and these are going to get sewn in. So you're going to want to start where you left off. Okay, so it was this panel here, and my needle is still here, and we're going to be seaming this end panel and the side. This is side B or side A here, and you're going to pick up 1 stitch here and then go through the pocket and then pick up 1 stitch here, and you're going to sew it from the inside all the way up to the top and then weave in your ends, and you're going to do that all the way around on all 4 corners. So go ahead and pause your video or pause my video and come back when you've got to that point. Okay, I'm not going to show that. It's going to be a little hard to do on camera, but it's the same technique we've done. You're just going to be pulling it together like this. And you're gonna have to turn it around, maybe in your lap where it's easy to do. I just can't show it on camera very well. All right, so go ahead and do that, and I will see you when that part's done. Okay, so I've sewn up all the insides, and I'm coming to the end of this very last corner, and I'm going to show you how to continue. So you may have all these long strands left, and if you haven't sewn them in, sorry, I didn't say this earlier, but you have these long strands left, and you can still continue sewing. And so you're going to finish the inside, reinforce the top, and just make a whip stitch by now coming on the outside and going through the outside or the outermost loops and pulling them together. And so you're just making a whip stitch all down through every seam. Okay, so if you'll keep working the same direction you were, you come up. Now you're going to go down this direction, and then if you'll always work this way, so your string, your yarn will go all the way down the vertical again, and then in this direction here, and then stop, and you'll have a little tail, and then you'll have a tail from the inside of this one, come down, and then work in this direction. And you can see I've already completed these, and I wove in the remaining tails, and so you can see what the finished edges look like on my bag. And then the last parts to sew after you finish reinforcing those is to come inside your bag, and your 2 small pockets are not done yet. You just need to get some extra yarn and then stitch together the end of this pocket here, the 2 square pocket, and then the 1 square pocket. You've got 1 little spot to sew in, and that's it. So once you've got your sewing done, you're going to make 2 of your handles, and we have a video for that. And they've got this nice little clasp on them. You can make them longer, you can make them shorter. I really wouldn't make them much shorter than this. These will stretch, and they get to be almost 36 inches when they're stretched with a lot of weight on them. And so you're just going to put them in at the corners here and just attach them to a top part, like this top chain here, and then come down to the other end and attach, and then you'll go to the other side and attach as well. So you're just attaching them on the long ends, and of course I have to finish this last one, but I just want to show you how it finishes off. And there you go. You have a lovely bag, and you could also add in a toggle clasp alongside here. You could put clasps right here, and so this makes this pocket close up if you want to have a closure there, or you could just leave it nice and open. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial today here at GoodKnit Kisses. I'm so glad you checked us out, and be sure to check out more of our potholder videos, as well as our knitting and loom knitting and crochet videos. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Thanks for joining us today, where we help you stitch your love and love your stitches. See you again soon.